if I'm right in saying you were training a young Garrett Bischoff, and that was how you met Eric, and that leads to you joining WCW. Is that correct?
Pretty much, yes, pretty much. But that I mean, you could put that on the front row and say that's how I got into pro wrestling. But no, I was teaching a student of mine that happened to be the son of Eric Bischoff. When his father came to see me do what I was doing, sparring and playing with the kids and teaching and talking, this guy said, "Hey, why don't you come and work with me?" And I said, "Work with you doing what?" He said, "A pro wrestler." And I said, "No, I've trained too hard." Because then I was a kickboxing champion.
Yeah.
That's the hardest fighting around, kickboxing. I went 12 rounds with a man trying to beat my brains out. I won 12 rounds.
Wow.
And didn't hardly get hit. My face still pretty. It was pretty. He couldn't, still didn't hardly get touched. So Eric saw this in me, and he opened up a conversation about maybe coming to work with me. So working with Eric meant that became a pro wrestler.
And I mean, WCW was obviously huge at the time, absolutely huge. Were you watching the product? Were you keeping in touch with what was happening?
It wasn't huge to me because that wasn't my world. I knew nothing about it. I knew nothing about pro wrestling. I didn't even watch it. My first match in the power plant, I was trying to figure out a character. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to wrestle. I didn't know nothing about wrestling. But I did go, and they put me into school, the power plant, and I would learn it pretty quickly because everybody there was, pro wrestler. Some of the best, from NWO to Hogan to DDP to Bill Goldberg. They had some big name guys coming through that school. So I couldn't do nothing but learn to love wrestling because they did.
Yeah. Is that where your friendship with Goldberg began, in the power plant when you were training together? Is similar time that you joined?
So if you watch Goldberg now, Goldberg is real angry. He just seemed like a mean guy. He's not, though. He's a really nice guy. But I guess he put this on, and I was talking to someone about this. Every time I see Goldberg in the wrestling world signing an autograph or doing something with WWE or something like that, he seemed real angry. He seems like he's pissed off. He's angry. But then when I see him outside of pro wrestling, working with the fans and meet and greet, he seems so nice. He's such a nice, always have a smile, real nice, real easygoing. He's a great father, great husband. But he always seemed real angry. And I guess that's that tough man stuff that he had in him. But the way Goldberg and I met, we was at the power plant at the same time. Now, I had first 2 weeks in the power plant, I had a bad reputation. My kicks were fast and hard. So not too many wrestlers were coming down there to get their head kicked off. So it was hard for me to work with somebody in the ring. If I call someone, they'll work with me if I'm wrestling. But if I call someone and say, "Hey, can someone work with me?" They were like, "Dude, are you kicking?" No, I'm not kicking. Shane Hams. I'll work with you, cat, but watch your kicks. And then after I had used everybody up, I hurt a lot of people by mistake. One day I looked up and I said, "Hey, I called this first guy. I think I yelled out to Billy Kidman. Hey, Billy Kidman, can you come in and work on my finish?" I said, "What's your finish?" "The feed line. I'm gonna go up on the rope. I'm gonna turn around and kick." I said, "Nope." He said, "Nope, not today." Then I asked Hard Body Harrison. "Hey, Hard, who will work with anybody? Hard Body Harrison, can you come and take my finish?" What is it?" "Yeah, but I'll be over there in a few minutes." So he was busy thinking he was Mr. Monday Night. So then I said, man, don't nobody want to work with me. They all scared of me. Then I hear this voice, hey, I'll work with you. And I looked over with Goldberg, big old bald head guy with muscles. And I said, okay. And I said, well, what you, but it wasn't like a, hey, I'll work with you. It's more like a challenge. Hey, I'll work with you. Then I said, what you want to do, what to me meant like, in order for us to work with someone, you got to work with them on something too. So I was going to take his finish and he was going to take my finish. So that's what I meant when I said to him, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
But he took it in a different way. He came back with like, we can do whatever you want to do. We can street fight. We can fight. We can do this. So I took it as a challenge too. So I said, okay, bring your ass on the ring. He said, come on in the ring. I already standing in the ring. He was standing outside. I said, come on in the ring. And that heated up. We wasn't mad, but it was a challenge.
Yeah.
And it was so funny. We had Pistol Pants Watley who loved that kind of tough stuff. So Pistol Pants Watley saw what was going on. He said, oh, shit. It's a bunch of bad guys down here. You ain't the only one. You ain't the only one. It's a bunch of bad guys down here. You know, and it kind of took off in a different way. But him and I later worked together and became good friends. It wasn't a challenge. It was just two high-level athletes, you know, trying to mark your territory.